And you know, us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational.
We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yes.
That's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports, and I am here with my host.
What's up, everybody? It's Karen. Did I do better?
Okay, so the question is, have you been practicing since I've been gone?
No, I was just thinking, like, if I just come out my shell and just like go for it, you know, instead of being all quiet and, you know, because I'm quiet, I'm shy. So I've been I've been practicing.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Now you went all the way around the mulberry bush just to say you've been practicing. You know what I'm saying? All right, you did good. You did good. I'm missing my host Kawasaka, so hopefully she'll come. All right, now I got to do it again. Ready? Are you ready, Kawasaka? Okay.
Yes. Pause. Thank you guys for joining. Can We Talk Show? Can We Talk Sports Show? Yes.
She didn't even hear what I said, Lord have mercy. Go ahead.
She did.
Oh, Shannon.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, I'm working. We're going to work on this, y'all. We're going to work on this. Behind the scenes, we're going to practice. You got to come in it with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like, what's up, everybody? You know, you got to come with it. But anyway. All right. So I had a great birthday.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Happy birthday and anniversary.
And the kids wouldn't stop calling my phone.
Oh.
Mama. Wait, what? Do not call me unless it's a 911.
Right.
It's like, Mama, no. But it was good. It was good.
That's good. Did you get a chance to rest?
No, I just, I hung out. I don't know, just took time. Me and hubby took time, and, it was our anniversary and my birthday. And then we come back, and my little baby, my grandbaby turned 1. So, so listen, her daddy went out and bought her the little Mercedes truck, right? So my daughter goes, I have a problem. Why is she getting a car before me? Right. So she was real salty, right? Like, girl, you're 16 years old. Please go get your permit and driver license and come talk to me. So, yeah, at first he was like, Mama, he's like, you want to go half with me? On what? A Range Rover for $100-something. Boy, you got me twisted. Right. Ain't nobody getting a Range before me. That's not going to happen.
Even if it is a little bitty car.
So you should see her. She had a ball. I tell you what, we had fun though.
That's good.
And then Father's Day, we cooked out. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Now I'm ready to throw all these guys out the house.
We had a lot of things going on.
Mm-hmm. I know, it was busy. It was good because we was able to celebrate the guys that are here. They're, their dads too. They have daughters, and even though they're here training and stuff, we was able to celebrate them. So it was pretty cool. Okay, but I'm about to throw them out the house tomorrow. About to throw them out tomorrow. Karen, can they come live with you?
It's just so far. I mean,
show is quiet in this as my husband would say, show is quiet in this Presbyterian church. So anyway, so what you got going on, Kawasaka?
Same old story.
Oh,
but you're singing it though.
Right, you singing it now.
Right.
I still see you on there working and grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't stop. I don't have no options, honey. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going, guys. Yes.
Yeah, you do. As a matter of fact, the group, the guys that the young guys that come over and train with Jordan, we were talking about that this week. Word of the week is core. Because I told him, I said, you know what? You've got to get to the core of who you are. That's where your strength, that's where God has placed some things on the inside of you. So when you can get to the core of who you are, you'll discover so much. So it's like, that's the word of the week. It's like, okay, when you're tired, when you feel like you want to give up, just go within and get to the core of who you are and pull it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the word of the week. And listen, I'm sure trying to pull because I'm so tired, y'all. I'm like, Jesus, where is it at?
Pull out your core.
Pull from the core.
I'm too tired to pull. So
I get you some of that NutriBurst.
I'm drinking it. But I got some exciting news. So my baby, Jaden, made Athlete of the Week at her PC. What?
Oh, at her what?
PC. Do you know they have the PC during the week, performance conditioning? That the
okay.
She made Athlete of the Week. They put her on the their website, and then she had a tournament this weekend. So she missed the baby's birthday party. Chick was killing the game. 3 games. They was whooping them 37-8.
There they go. That 3.
Really?
3. She had 3 games. Coach called me. He said, "Listen, she played her butt off.
She been ready.
She trying to. She has to because I told her she need to get that scholarship.
Right.
Tell the Lord thank you.
Okay, see, I'm gonna have our guests gonna talk about the mental mind that you just put on your child about getting a scholarship. So we're gonna let them talk about
okay,
that.
let's wait before you bring them on. Hold up. Wait a minute now. Hold up. Do you know how much it is to go to college right now?
I imagine the prices are really high right now.
I needed to get the scholarship. I didn't say she got to go professional. No, what I didn't say she got to be professional. I just needed to get the scholarship. Okay. And I need the twins to get one too. See, I need all the kids to get scholarships. We good. I ain't got to pay for nothing.
They go get it.
And listen, ain't none of them doctors that's about to come on the show gonna say, because I'm gonna tell all 3 of them too. Listen,
3, the number 3.
Then y'all must go write the scholarship check. Okay, no, I'm playing. Let me stop. They probably back there cracking up, laughing at me. All right, so we have a great show today. We have 3 doctors. 3.
We'll give them all doctors.
Coming to the show, we are going to talk about COVID, sports, mental state of mind. I've got a lot of questions about that because I've seen so much during this during the COVID and just sitting down with the young men that are here at the house living with us right now and just asking questions and how they are dealing with the possibility of not playing in the NFL this season. And so they're trying to mentally figure out what they're going to do with their lives and stuff. So we will be right back after this with our guests. Hey, welcome to the show. How are you guys? All right, we got Dr. Keino. We have Brad and Dr. Emmett at the show.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So now, before we go forward, we got to play this game called Would You Rather. If y'all can't answer the question, I'm gonna have to write a prescription for y'all. Because listen, you better get it right. Right. All right. I need my show intro.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here you go.
All right, here we go. Would you rather drive a 1967 convertible Impala with hydraulics or a 2020 Lamborghini?
The Impala.
God.
Sure.
All right, Brad, where you at?
Give me the Lambo all day.
Oh, you and my husband will get along. Oh my God.
I'm gonna take the Imp.
Did you say the Lambo?
All day.
Okay. All right, Coach Key, Dr. Keino, what you got?
Imp all day. 6'7" Imp.
All right. See, we got 2 old schools in the house. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Karen, what's your question?
Okay. Would you rather fart really loud or to poop silently in your pants?
I'm not responsible for the question that came out of my host's mouth. Please do not hold me responsible. Okay, go ahead. Oh Lord.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Just say, I plead a fifth. Just take the fifth.
Would
I'm trying
you rather poop really loud, fart really loud,
Yeah.
or poop silently in your pants?
Did you say poop?
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
Give me the out loud. Give me the out loud. Give me the out loud.
Would you rather fart really loud or poop silently in your pants?
Oh no. Fart.
Yeah.
Classica, that's your host.
Yeah.
That's your host.
Yeah,
all
I'll let it rip.
Here's my question. Would you rather sing like R. Kelly or Luther Vandross?
Ooh. I missed it up from last week. Sing like Luther.
If we choose R. Kelly, we just the singing part.
Yeah. We going
right answer.
Just the singing. Just the singing.
Big Luther or Slimmer? Yeah. Which one?
Big. Would you say? What you say?
Big Luther or Slimmer Luther? For one night. I'm going with Luther.
Big Luther.
Luther. If
only for one night over here.
Give me Luther. Give me Luther.
Okay, we got Luther. Emmett, did you say R. Kelly?
Yep.
I'm the Chocolate Factory. I'm sorry.
We know what you about.
No.
Yeah. The silent poop.
All right, so let's get on with the question. Oh my God. All right, Karen, come on with the first question.
Yeah.
Well, my first question is tell us about your group, Black Male Athlete. What is that? How did you guys get together? And give us insight about that.
Dr. Gill, you want that?
No, man. You go ahead. Hit it.
I'll give the brief. When COVID happened, we had a lot of athletes. We were trying to figure out how we best going to support them. And so when I said a lot of athletes, between Emmett's group, the Alliance for Social Workers in Sport, and my group, Big Sky Group, working with student athletes, we were just trying to figure out how we're going to support these individuals while they were at home. And Emmett convened a call and asked, hey, I'm thinking about putting together a group for Black men. And that's an area of emphasis, focus, passion for me, and it has been for a number of years. And so I was on it, and I remember Brad saying, yeah, we're interested in that. And so as best I can recollect, that's how it began, just in the call from Dr. Gill.
Okay. So all three of you guys have your doctors. Can you tell us what field you're in?
I have my PhD in counseling psychology with a minor in sports psychology.
Okay.
So I graduated from the University of Indiana with my PhD in counseling psychology.
Okay. Brad?
I'm a licensed professional counselor, but I am in school. I'll be done in about a year getting my doctorate of education in sports and performance psychology.
Okay.
That's awesome. And my terminal degree is in social work for the University of Maryland. And my master's degree is in social work from HU, the real HU, Howard University.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's kind of jump right in. During the COVID, and I'm really big on this because I do have 5 athletes here at the house, males, 3 in which 3 did go to the NFL, and then 2 is transitioning from a knee injury to baseball. And then I have 1 that's in college actually coming here on his way. So me and my husband kind of opened our home up to, they like coming here training because my son Jordan does a lot of training. So they like to come and train. And
cool.
And I know they shared that their environment was not all that good to go back home to right now. During the COVID situation, what have you seen with these athletes mentally? Because we always talk about the plan B and not being prepared and the possibility of not playing again. And I think for some athletes, it's the reality of that is kind of hard to swallow. You know, it's like, what do I do? I mean, I never had a plan B. And so mentally, what have you seen during this time with athletes? Anyone want to?
I jump in. You know, I currently work as the clinical counselor at University of Georgia. I'm 1 or 2, and there's a lot of angst. There's a lot of worry, a lot of concern about sports not happening. Because, like you said, there's a lot of that's plan A, B, and C. You get to this level of athletics. The next step is professional rank. So if that's taken away, the training is taken away. What's next? What's next? So just trying to, develop a plan B. Let's look at additional options, because we there's a lot of uncertainty. And still, as they've transitioned back in, there's still a lot of uncertainty going on. So I want to make sure that I can assist and, give these kids the tools that they need to, survive outside the sports realm. Because that is all a lot of them have to get out, and as you stated, bringing up the home environments, everybody isn't in the best home situation. So, they get back here on campus, they have food, they have shelter, they have things they might not be able to get at home. So having that sense of security here on campus means the world to a lot of them. So, just struggling with that has been a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would piggyback off of what Brad's saying. I mean, in this time of COVID, we had a lot of time on our hands. So it's sort of like, what do I do at this time? So, on the one hand, you have student athletes and professional athletes who have time to reflect on, a lot of good things, but at the same time, there's a lot of trauma that they have to deal with. There's a lot of, adversity they have to deal with, whether it's at home, whether it's within their sports team, because real talk, whether it's college or pro sports, some of these athletes don't have good relationships with the athletic department or the sports organization, and so they have an opportunity to reflect on that. And so that's on the negative end of things. But on the positive end of things, I really think it's provided an opportunity for our athletes to pursue other identities. Some are able to connect with family, take care of family, take care of children, rekindle relationships with significant others. So I think there's a broad spectrum of issues. And so, much like myself, sort of going through COVID, there were great days, and there were not so great days.
Right.
And so dealing with those adjustments and being able to understand that, today I'm not okay, but tomorrow, and next day and the next day I am okay. Hopefully it will provide our athletes with some resiliency skills.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you feel that maybe the coaches never really prepared them for something like this? Do you feel like, we could have, whether it's as parents, because whether it's coaches, teachers, that we could have prepared these athletes for something like this? Do you understand the question? It's, in other words, it's kind of like when they're in high school, should we have sat down and said, hey, let's talk about a plan in case something ever happens? Let's just say a lockout happens or something goes crazy. We should have prepared them for something like this, would you say?
Let me jump in. I think honestly, there was no real way to prepare for something like this. And what I've explained to my children is we've never experienced anything like this. And in my role, I work at Tulane. And so I work with retired NFL guys. And in my capacity, I've worked with professional guys. I've worked with guys in college. And so I'm working with all three right now. And so in terms of preparation, you have those who are already transitioned out of sport, and it's more re-traumatizing because it's like, I thought I had a plan, and now this level of uncertainty, I can't even come to the hospital for my visits. I can't even come and see you guys for my visit, which I planned 4 months in advance. And so for those who are trying to move forward with their life, it just gave a different barrier, an unexpected barrier. For athletes, for example, I had a track and field athlete who was stressed because she thought she had lost a year. And thankfully she got that year back. But in their transition, she said, you know, do I really want to come back to this institution? And that's not the only athlete who made a decision to transfer or figure out, you know, hey, when I do this again, it's like an ultimate reset. When I do this again, when I come back into my season, what's going to be healthy for me? So it's more of a reassessment of their own health and well-being. And what I've worked with individuals, male and female, but particularly my African-American males, I've had to be able to talk to them about not only resiliency, but also having the ability to kind of frame this out. You got an extra few months. And what I know is you better be ready come August. And it's always that mindset of, no, you don't have time to kick it. You need to be preparing. You know, April, May, June, camp is coming. And so if you want to get a starting position, and what I told guys very specifically, if you expect to compete for a position, you got to stop smoking. And so being back home kind of opened the door for some of those old behaviors.
Yeah, those old habits. Yeah. Right. Go ahead, Karen, you got one?
Yeah, I have on a shirt that says act on your dreams. And, you know, for most of these kids, that's what they've been training for. And now you have COVID-19. So what do you tell them as far as mentally how to deal with life? You know, my son didn't work until he was like 12th grade because he was actively in sports. So now he had to even learn how to get a job. So how do you tell these athletes, you know, okay, I know you got that dream, but here's some life things that you need to be working on. You need a job. As far as a mom, we're saying you need a job. So how do we tell them, how do we mentally help them with that process until they can't go back to acting on their dreams?
Yeah. I would say it's time to grow up. You know, if you have a 14, 15, 16-year-old, I've got a 14 and a 12-year-old, it's time to grow up. You have to be able to take adversity and make something out of it. And I know that's very hard. And I recognize that, you know, I may have lost season and I can't go back to this college. But the bottom line is what we take away from this is as an adult, you're going to lose a job. You know, as a parent, you're going to have some loss. And so with more responsibility is going to come heartbreak. And so you use it as a teachable moment. But at the same time, in my experience and working with these folks and even with these guys in our group, we talk about the human aspects of, yeah, I'm an athlete, but I'm also a man. And so what does it feel like to have loss? And what does it feel like to know you have somebody to rely on? So even in that moment, you've got a house, Shannon, you've got a house full of brothers who are relying on each other to kind of pick each other up.
That's right.
You know, they're eating out of house and home, but it is that level of comfort and connection that's what they're hoping to reestablish. That's what they didn't get in spring ball, you know? And so that level of connection, that's critical and vital. As long as you are trying to recreate that, like what we've tried to do in this group, then you have a hope. But that's just part of the challenges, adversity that come with being an adult.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Well, I also think, you know, and it goes back, you know, to the earlier question with regard to how do you prepare? I mean, you know, real talk, we're not done with COVID, possibly.
Nope.
You know, we could see a second round of this. You know, so, you know, this is also an opportunity to say, you know what, we're not quite out of this. So as Keino mentioned, you know, it's a great time to practice some skills. It's time to get a job. You know, it's time to do some of these things. You know, and for real, with some of our athletes, because they do have their eyes on the prize, sometimes with other things in life, it's just all about tough love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a 12th grader here. He's in the same situation. You know, he hasn't worked much because he's always been involved in athletics. He's top-notch academics. You know, but in a couple of days, I'm gonna tell him, go find a job and don't come back till you got one. For real.
Wow.
And, you know, and if it's 10 p.m., you can come back, you can go to sleep, but you're going to get up at 8 p.m. because there's some jobs out there. They ain't going to come knocking at the door. What's my man, the comedian that said, ain't no job going to come knocking at the door? Knock, knock, knock. Who this is job? That ain't happening.
Robin Harris.
Did he say knock, knock, knock? Oh, my gosh.
Robin Harris.
Oh, y'all talking That's right.
I agree. So with the young men here, which I love about it. So I have my business is Evolve Sports, and I started Fit 360 for my son, physical. I mean, he does agility training. And so we opened our home because, like I said, they felt like, you know what, if I go home, I'm not going to train. It's not a good environment. So we've let them stay here. But I told them, I said, you got to be training and you have to do something. And so what they did is they've come together with Evolve, and they're working together with Fit 360. And so they've got 5 high school kids that they do agility training with. They turn my garage, Jesus help, into a weight room, and I love it. We post about it all the time. They're training the guys, they're imparting in them. So it's kind of like mentally they're still in the game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They work out 6 a.m. in the morning, they go train, they run their routes, they come back, they train the kids. And I told them, I said, this is that transition from, in case you don't do sports right now, this is a smooth transition for you. And I've always prepared them like that. But in our conversations, I realized there's a lot of hurt, there's been a lot of pain, whether it's dealing with women. They all have children. And so I realized during the COVID, all that came running in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, when you're out on the field, you ain't thinking about it. She tripping about the baby. You're not thinking. But when you sit down, it was like a flood. It just says whoosh. And then you started to see the mental, ups and downs. And we had heart to hearts about it. We pray about it. We talk about it. But me and Karen were talking. We call that like their life support, right? But a lot of athletes don't have that right now. Right. And a lot of them are dealing with the baby mama drama, at home. No one's supporting them and encouraging them to, keep going. So how do we really help them? If, let's say, this season they can't play, whether it's NFL, college, what can we do to be a life support to these guys? And even the females, because it's not just the guys. Right. You even got the females, that may not go back to sports. So how do we help them?
I mean, now, in real talk, I don't know about the other guys, but I've been through baby mama drama. Matter of fact, I still go through it. And, I go pick up my little man in New Jersey on Saturday. And, I think it's all about game plan. It's like my man Trevor Ariza in the NBA. He decided that he wasn't going to go play in Orlando because he wants to spend that month with his kids. So the thing that I'll really be doing if I were a college athlete or a pro athlete, first of all, I'd be reaching out to have somebody to speak with. I would probably look for accountability group. Sisters, I feel your love and I feel your passion to raise men. But in my opinion, black men are the best equipped to raise a black man. And I needed an accountability group. I needed a faith community because I needed a playbook, and that's the Bible. And then I needed some people who were going to hold me accountable and show me how it's done. And so I think that's something. And then the game plan. It's like, if I know this season is happening, real talk, all those little forms, them little court forms, they right there online. Go learn about them. You don't need no attorney. Go learn about them. You can show up. We're doing everything telehealth now. They're doing the same thing in the courts. I mean, do something.
That's right.
Do something. Don't stand still with regard to this time. And I think doing something, whether it's calls, whether it's Zooms, whether it's actually, sometimes you got to humble yourself with your baby mom and just take it. Yeah. Just to be close to your little man or your daughter. So those are some things that I would recommend. But I want to go back right quick because I don't want to dominate the brother's time. And I want to just talk about one thing. If I were working with high school athletes now, and I was a college athlete, in particular, a freshman or a sophomore, I would be working on my name, image, and likeness. Yeah. Because at the end of next summer, college athletes are going to be able to use their name, image, and likeness. It's probably going to flow down to high school athletics. I'll be cleaning up my social media accounts. I'll be looking around my community saying, you know what, who might think about signing me? Hey, I don't care if y'all going to give me $100 and some free fish dinners. I'm signing with y'all. And start to look for those opportunities because that's real.
That's right.
I mean, the reality is they're estimating that some college athletes are going to make up to $500,000 a year. Yeah. But the only challenge is is when they speak about those athletes, those are the white males and the white females.
Right.
Mm.
And the white females are leading the way.
That's right.
So our brothers got to go out and they got to clean out their they got to clean up their social media accounts. They have to figure out some other identities. So I might be out saying, you know what, I'm gonna clean up my identity as a father.
That's right.
Therefore, I can go out and do some of those endorsements.
Yeah.
It's all got to be this holistic, connected approach. And I'm gonna be quiet because I tend to soapbox.
No, I agree with you on
Good.
that. I'm big on that. I will go on their social media in a minute. What's this? You better take that off of there. So I'm good on that. And you're right. You have to you have to clean it up. And as far as men, that's why I love my husband's, because he takes that side with these guys. He's tough on them. You know what I'm saying? He's been through a lot, and he tells them the truth. He don't sugarcoat. He tells them, you better stand up, be a man, take care of your child. He walks them through the steps. Even though they're here, they have a chore. I know, and they were like, and they were 25, 3 of them was 25. My husband's like, no, I'm teaching you something. You know what I'm saying? So you got a dish on one day, dishes on one day, you got dishes on the next day, you got trash on that day. So it's like, you're not going to live somewhere just for free.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You're going to do something. Even if you're living with your girl, you're going to do something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can
learn to cook.
Yep.
No, but I think that's interesting. And simply put,
go get a job.
This is a moment for responsibilities. And I think you had the coach on talking about recruiting. And I think that's critical to talk more about, what these young people, grown men, could and should be doing with this time. I mean, in the NFL, the season is over for a lot of guys in December. They don't go into camp until July. So some of those individuals are used to how to treat their body and their mind during that process. But to the question, I think getting these young men and young people and young women connected with mental health providers, mental health communities, because some of this uncertainty, some of this interpersonal conflict, some of that is there's the expertise out there with licensed marriage and family counseling. There's EAP benefits people rarely use. And so some of these things you can access and begin to work on rebuilding or reestablishing positive relationship with your family members.
Sure. Okay. Karen, you got a question?
Yeah. One of the things that we always talk about on the show is sports being our kids' identity. And that's all. My husband was a coach, and that's all I did for my many kids, introduce sports. I never showed him anything else. I didn't create a balance. And so right now he, took time to even once he left sports, he had to figure out who he was. So that's one of my pet peeves for us going back to parents and say, hey, create a balance for your kids, find out something else they like to do. But from the mental part of that, as far as these kids and sports being their only identity, how can we as parents help them to adjust to figure out who they are other than sports?
I think it's one of those things where you don't know what you don't know. So being able to get your kids in front of different things. For us as young black men, it was basketball, it was football. Might have played, soccer when you were really little, or baseball, but that was all we knew. That's what we played in the neighborhood. So as we got older, my mom raised all me and my siblings, but she had us involved in different things. Music lessons, things of that nature. Things that we probably wouldn't have seen on the regular at school or whatever. But just being involved in different clubs, just more culture, the better. Because if you don't see it, it's not familiar to you. So just being very intentional with getting out in front of different things. Because you might say about we don't like that, but you don't know if you don't like it if you've never seen it, never been involved in it. So just having access to different things.
Yeah, I think that's important. Go ahead.
No, I want to echo that. Like with my 14 and 12-year-old, I've been trying to push lacrosse on them for years. But I'm trying to expose them to other things. So my son will tell me, I want to be a football player. I'm like, okay, what's your second career? So you can train for your second career at the same time you're training for your football career. You're going to translate the things you learn in football, the discipline, over into another career. So I don't want to hear that. So thankfully he's thinking about something in medicine. But I'm always challenging. So for parents, it's about challenging your kids early, how to expand and explore the scope of their identity beyond just the playing field. I'm a big proponent of study abroad. And so with student athletes, you know, I remember interviewing more than a couple of jobs, and I'm like, what are the opportunities for student abroad for these African-American or Black athletes? And they were like, tell me more about what you mean. Well, I think it's very important for them to do study abroad as well as community service or community-based learning. And so those type of opportunities can start before they go to college. You know, even if you can't leave, the country, you can take them out into the country and show them, agrarian lifestyle. You can take them out of Oak Cliff. I mean, I was in Oak Cliff. I didn't leave, until, we drove to Huntsville and spent a summer, on a Fort Benning Army base. But that level of exposure gave me something different than just running around with football in my brain, my mind. So exposure early and often.
And I'd say the last thing I want to piggyback off of something that Brad said, spending time with family and moms, you have a great opportunity to reflect on what you loved and you were passionate about when you were a kid, things that you don't remember, things that you drew, just things that you talked about. And so, in terms of things that both parents can do, moms just sitting down talking about their kids and what they used to do before they were engrossed in sports. And that might rekindle the fire with regard to some of those things, or they might really learn about themselves. Some of the things that I enjoy the most, is watching my wife when she's talking with the boys and sort of reflecting on things they used to do when they were little. And I enjoy conversations with my mom when I go home, just to learn about not just myself, but what some of my elders were good at. And so I think those conversations can also help, with our identity development.
Yeah, it's very important. We were laughing when our granddaughter got her birthday gift, the Mercedes truck. We were all sitting around laughing, and I was like, Joker, I used to ride a big wheel. Like, what? You don't know nothing about no big wheel. You know what I'm saying? You be riding, you know how you hit that brake, you skirt around that corner, and they start cracking up laughing, right? I was like, Mercedes truck, man, you need to get that girl a big wheel. That's what we do. We talked about like tetherball. You get that pole and you put it in that the container, put the cement, take that pole out there, and you play that tetherball in the street. And even during the COVID, we went out there, we played Foursquare. So you're right. There's things that we tell them, like, this is what we used to do. But in that, during this time before the COVID happened, the reason why I started Evolve Sports is because I wanted to build a company that all 5 of the children can run together, because I knew sports was not going to last forever. And I told them, Jordan got his degree from OU. Julian was in college. Jaden and Christopher and Christian are in high school and junior high. But I told him, I said, even though you're in junior high, you still can run a part of the company. You're good in math. I told my daughter, you love math, study accountant. No. Okay, so I see that hand over there in the corner.
What's going on here?
Oh my God, no, we're gonna go down this way. But anyway, so and I even told Jordan, I said, hey, listen, he wants to do get certified as a trainer, get into physical therapy. I said, so after sports, you can still run a company and make it as big as you want. I thought that was very important to me, because I knew sports was not going to be forever. And I've always taught them, take the money, save and invest in yourself. You're not going to go jump up and buy no Benz. You're not going to go jump up and buy no big house. You're going to learn to invest. You're going to understand, because look at this situation, because I was looking on the news and they had an NBA player did an interview, and he said 150 NBA players were living payday to payday during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, my mouth just dropped. And he even says some of them are struggling because they didn't know how to balance their money right. They're paying for other people's rent, other people's cars. And then this situation happened and they're stuck. So let's talk about the financial side of this, especially as African American men. For some reason, they see that check and it's like, I'm going to get the biggest car, the biggest house, the biggest bling. Why is that?
Nobody didn't talk.
Well, you all talked about the identity piece, and one of the challenges, I don't know who it was. I think it may have been Dave Chappelle. He just kind of talked. No, it was on Black AF when he was talking about the gold chain.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how the socialization was the gold chain meant status. So my dissertation is a reemergence of Black masculinity through sport. And so if you can really think about this from the perspective of through sport, we get the woman, the car, the big piece of chicken, and everything else we need and everything we want, right? So the way we're socialized is I'm supposed to have this and this is what I'm supposed to do. So you can imagine the parent, unlike you all, who says, oh, baby, you got $100,000. I need this. And if you can imagine athletes like, we'll just say Michael Irvin, something from Dallas, who had, if I'm not mistaken, 14 brothers and sisters and his parents. And so for athletes like that, yeah, you're going to contribute broadly.
Wow.
So when we're socialized in such a way, and then we don't really understand, oh, there's this book I'm sitting right here on my desk. We don't really understand the power of the community and have to give back, right? So there it is, power, money, and sex, the things we don't really understand that come with that position that you're in. I'm giving it to my son. It's one of the greatest books I ever read. So that's just how we're socialized, and the communities that we come into, that we're raised from, is some of those values just aren't chiseled in, aren't etched in. You know, I'll leave it at that.
Anybody else?
I would say in a lot of these positions, you know, you get so used to not having anything. You know, you growing up, you know, and you have the bare minimum, and sometimes less than that. And then all of a sudden, you can get anything you want. You know, you can get mom, you know, that the car, the house, and you know, you get yourself anything you want. You know, and there's no restrictions, no hold bars. You know, and they haven't.
Yeah, it is.
They don't know the budget side of it. They don't know that half of that is going to the government. You know, they don't understand that part of it. And I've been in my position for 2 years, and I spent a lot of my time talking about that. Like, you know, if you had $1 million right now, what would you do with it? Oh man, I would go buy. No, you know, do you know anything about investing? You know, nah, not really. Yeah. You know, and those are the kind of conversations I try to have, like real conversations, man, because this is supposed to, you know, you're getting ready to make what's supposed to be generational wealth. And the majority of pro athletes, they go broke.
They go broke.
They go broke. You know, I'm talking about within 5 years after they finish playing.
Yeah. You know what's so amazing? When my son signed to Kansas, and I work with his agent, so I manage him, and then he has an agent. And he said, Mama, he was in Kansas. He said, Mom, I need a car. I was like, all right. So I went to Mitsubishi. So at the Mitsubishi dealership, they had like all the luxury cars on one side and the Mitsubishis on the other. So when I walk in and I tell them who I am and I have the contract, they take me to the luxury side. I said, no, you're not. You're going over to this Mitsubishi side. And he looks at me and I said, go ahead, get that Outlander. I said, go and black the tires, black the windows. He's going to be all right. And so he pulls me outside, and he's African American. He goes, I wish you would talk to more mothers. And I said, why? And he said, do you know how many athletes come in here? The ink's not dry on the contract. And they will go get a Hellcat, $100,000 car. And by time we finish, it's like their notes are $1,000 a month. And the next thing you know, they can't afford it because they got released. They ain't even played a full season. And I said, no. I said, we're going to go over here because if he gets released, he still can at least afford his car note. And I said, he'll be all right. It's going to be cute. You know what I'm saying? He'll have a little swag. We'll tint the windows extra dark, black out the tires. And he just started laughing. He said, agents will call and get these cars for these guys. And I'm like, you're not going to put my son in debt like that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because he's a free agent. So he didn't go first round. He didn't get no signing bonus. They saw the contract. And I always tell people that is a dangerous piece of paper if you don't know how to use it, because they saw the contract and the numbers and they're like, what do you want? I mean, literally, they were getting ready. I could have walked off with a G-Wagon, a Range Rover, you name it, just from that piece of paper.
And you said a G-Wagon? Like,
I could have.
Like what color?
I'm like, man, this is crazy. And I realized.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So with the contract, that's not real money.
Right. Some they're not. All of them are guaranteed.
It's not money. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's
So
nothing
why would
NFL.
you walk
Yeah.
into a lot with not no money guaranteed? I'm just trying to understand that part.
Because they look at what they look at is it's a job. He signed it. It shows 6 figures. They're not they don't care if you're gonna get released tomorrow. They don't care if you're gonna get released in an hour. They just say contract 6 figures, here's your car.
Yeah.
They will fight for you, push through the bank, everything. And he's in Kansas, right? And they're like, we'll do everything through you. They overnighted the paperwork to Kansas for him to sign. He overnighted them back. And during that time, they handed me the keys to the car. Just like that. And I was like, this. So in the hands of the wrong person, let's be realistic, because you have moms who put, I call it the backpack on their son. And they're like, at the young age, I always say little Johnny can throw. So all of a sudden they're like, all right, little Johnny, you going to go play football, be a quarterback, and buy me a house. And so little Johnny grows up, trying to please and be that person that mama said you're going to be. And then in the wrong hands, that contract in the wrong hands of a person, I'm telling you, it tripped me out. They took me in, they fed us. I'm like, when a dealership start feeding you, right? Like, it was just like, we got the red carpet, and they really thought I was going to go over there and buy a G-Wagon and the most expensive car. And I said, no. And he's like, I salute you. I was like, no. Me and my husband said, no, you're not. You're going to put him in this and he'll be all right.
Yeah.
So when do the contract is official?
Well, when they sign a contract, there's a certain amount that's guaranteed. And so when you hear the report, it may tell you the overall worth of the contract, but only a certain amount is guaranteed. So you'll hear guaranteed signing bonus. That's guaranteed. And that's a portion. But it may be 5-year, let's just say 5-year, $100 million quarterback money, 30 million is guaranteed. And so over the course of that 5 years, that will pay out the 30 million, but everything else is based on performance and based on meeting the needs. So it's a lot of different things. I think in working with athletes who've retired, I've seen both. Some have done very well, and some is very tough. They're back home living with their parents. And so you see both sides of it. And so from a mental health perspective, I'm working on the front end of guys going into going into college, as well as guys who are coming out of professional careers and guys who didn't make it to the professional league. So that's really on 3 different fronts. And so really the part about what am I supposed to look like at this point, or how am I supposed to be living, that's part of chiseling away at that artificial identity of what am I supposed to look like, or what does status look like. And so that's part of the work that mental health providers, you have to be prepared to do, just because it's problematic for those who their identity is so inculcated that they go into a deep depression when, they get cut, or they go into a deep depression when they have a career-ending injury.
Right. So it's a loss. Any loss.
I think the other piece with regard to our college athletes now, though, is they've got cost of attendance money. So at most major D1 schools, they're getting that cost of attendance money. So it might be $3,000, $4,000, $500, $5,000. And, the challenge is that, a lot of athletic departments aren't teaching our kids how to manage that money.
Yeah.
But I'll go back, way back to like when our kids are really young. You give a kid $1 and they want to spend it and they'll do anything to spend that money. You're like, that money's burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
We got to go way back and look at some of those opportunities to just teach our kids about saving. I mean, it is about investing, but it's all about saving. The other thing I'll say is I think that we do have some positive examples out there when we think about folks like Kawhi Leonard, who since he was at San Diego State, he's been driving the same car. We've got other stories about athletes who are simply living off the interest of their money. We've got examples like KD and investing in technology. So I do believe, on the strengths tip, that we do have more examples out there of athletes doing the right thing with their money. Like Brad Daugherty, he's co-owner of a NASCAR team, and that's big money, so what we need to do is begin to show those athletes, or not show them, but reinforce these examples and let them know that, it's possible and it's more than, cars and chains and that other, what was that? Cars, chains, and sex.
Power.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was just me. Is that a Freudian?
That's you, bro.
So during this time, go ahead, Caressa.
Yeah, just real quick, because think about it. Like he said, Doctor said, it's always going back. Because remember, we got to get them the latest Jordans. They got to have the latest clothes, Jabos. That's in our day. The latest Reeboks. It's like they got to stay up with the trend, right? So just imagine when they looking at the athletes in NFL now, what they're doing, chains and, and like he said, there's so many positive people, athletes that's doing the right thing. And we just hoping that they can, tune in to those guys instead of just the chains and, the money and all of that good stuff. But yeah, it starts when they're young. Yeah. We got to get them everything they want. We don't let them work for it. Go out in the yard and cut some yard and go work for it. Yeah. See? So yeah, I agree totally with you. But we don't want to miss that part. It starts then.
It starts then.
Oh, absolutely.
So now during the COVID situation that we are in, what is the conversation we need to be having? What are the conversation parents need to be having with their young ones? That are, let's start at 7th grade, because that's when identity really starts to kick in. Yeah. When you're done playing daddy ball, reality kicks 7th grade. Okay. And when you was playing daddy ball, you was the man, you was the girl. 7th grade come, it's like, wait, I'm on the bench. Wait, what's this? What happened? And now they're going, wait, I don't like this game, and they're trying to figure out. 7th grade is when you're really trying to figure out who you are. For instance, I have twins. 7th grade, I made them play sports. And this is why I said, I don't need you to be, I'm not asking you to be a professional. I know one of my sons wants to be a doctor. He wants to be a scientist. And the other one, he's still trying to figure it out. But I made them play for accountability and understanding discipline.
Yep.
And when I did, it's amazing how they shot up to like a 4.0, because they understood in order to play the sport, they had to keep their grades up to the point that one of them actually was put in college prep classes. So, but these are the conversations I'm watching them figure out who they are and what they want to do. Right. So when the COVID situation happened, it was just like, okay, man, it was funny because they weren't really caught off guard, because one of them is always Googling and researching science.
Yeah.
The other one, y'all need to pray for me. He went to that Xbox. I almost threw it out the window, y'all. Oh my gosh. So he's talking about, Mom, I'm gonna be a gamer. And I got mad until we had a guest on our show and he told me how much gamers make.
Right.
But he had to help me understand technology. He was like, no, don't discourage him. Help him learn like game
graphics and programming.
So then I was like, okay, I get it. So what are the conversations that we need to start having with our children? Let's say start 7th grade, especially during this COVID and this change, because nothing will never be the same again. What are the conversations we need to have with them, dealing with their identity and how to get over this?
Brad, go for it, bro.
Well, for me, I was a middle school counselor for 5 years. So I've dealt with that age group extensively, but you know, whether if I was still in the middle school setting or in the college setting, right now is having a routine, a daily routine, and something that you're building towards every single day. You know, researching something every day, whether it's, you know, an interest or a different career, a different profession. You know, just spending. Okay, I'm gonna spend X amount of time on this, X amount of time on this, because you know, whether you're in middle school, high school, you know, a college athlete, you spend so much time on somebody else's clock.
Mhm.
Like right now, you're not on anyone else's clock. So you have to
Good.
take the time to build up your own schedule, you know, get into your own routine, and make sure, like you said, being accountable for that time. You know, this is as adults, we know we'll never get this time to have everything slow down and, you know, be around family. So we want to make sure being intentional and taking advantage of this time to learn about ourselves, what we like, what we know we don't like, and just make sure you know you build your network. You know, if I'm in seventh grade, like whenever I decided that I wanted to get into this field, I sat at my desk and I researched. You know, Emmett was the first person I reached out to. He hit me right back, and every single person that I reached out to, except for maybe one, you know, got back to me. So expanding your network, even in seventh, eighth grade. Like if there's, you know, if there's things you're interested in, you know, you'll be surprised the amount of feedback you'll get from people if you have interest in that area.
Yeah.
So just being intentional with that time, and expanding your identity, expanding, you know, adding more tools to your toolbox on a daily basis.
Let me jump in real quick. I want to be respectful of the time. Also, I've got one going to the seventh grade. She likes Roblox. It's a game on the computer.
Oh my God.
So I challenge her to build the nicest house she can build on Roblox.
Yes.
And I use that as a way to get her thinking about architectural design. And I get her thinking about, what do you like about this room? How are you designing this? And I give her feedback, but I have an idea where it's going and where it's leading to. My 14-year-old, he click, you know, Xbox. So what he does like to do is he likes to develop his own roster. So we begin to talk about player personnel. So what does it take to build a team? You know, what are you looking for in that trade? So I'm beginning to understand his idea and trying to help him shape around human resources, the most important resources. So that gets me to slavery, right? So what we all know in our education, K through 12, you know, I went to DeSoto, I went to Skyline. We don't learn enough about our own history as African Americans and descendants of enslaved Africans. We learn more from YouTube. So now, precocious seventh grader, guess what she gets to do? She gets to watch these YouTube clips and learn more about her own history in this time in American history than she would be learning in class. So I'm turning this into a historical moment to improve her self-identity. I'm sending her pictures, not of Instagram thoughts, but of sisters with natural hair. So I want her to be able to appreciate her hair. So you have to be very intentional to be instructive in this online world that we may inherit in the future.
Wow. That was really good. I agree with that. Roblox, I agree. You know, they play Roblox all the time. Actually, I was in school to do drafting and design. I wanted to do architect until all the ITTs closed down and I kind of got bummed out. But you're right. You can use that as a tool and building and stuff. So when it comes to the historical Black colleges, do you feel that if a majority of our star athletes that are African American would attend one, do you feel that they would have been more prepared with dealing with their identity than it would be if they? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because because Emmett said something. He said it takes another Black man to raise another Black man, right?
Right.
So how do you feel the difference between the two, especially in this kind of situation?
Emmett, they opened the door for you. I'll say a gift and a curse, but I'll come back on that in a minute.
Nah, I think that, you know, that's a great question, and we talk about that a lot because we talk about whether, you know, our star athletes should go to historically Black colleges, and I believe they should. as someone who went to an HBCU, someone who taught at HBCU, someone who worked in athletics at a HBCU, I definitely think that, our Black college athletes and athletes of color would have a great experience in terms of their identity development on a Black college.
Yeah.
I mean, just the history of it, just the tradition, whether you think about Howard or Hampton, Bethune-Cookman or FAMU, whether you think about Texas Southern or some of our other HBCUs, just the historical context. And then you got people who are going to take care of you, and that's really important because, a HBCU has a vested interest in your success. But I think the other piece, and this might seem a little bit off, but, being an HBCU is hard. Being around your people is hard. And I think that our athletes need to learn how to navigate our own communities and our own stuff that we got going on before they go out there and try and navigate the larger community. Because if you can navigate your own community, your own Black community, if you can get through all of the things that we have to deal with as a people, you can deal with that other stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's the thing, that Black colleges have to offer, our star athletes. And I just really wish that some of these kids would really think about it, because the reality is with guaranteed games, you're going to be playing the PWIs anyway. You're going to play these schools anyway. With COVID-19, and we're going to start restricting travel, I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Southern gets to play UT in a game of basketball or the University of Houston. So those opportunities are going to be there post-COVID. Our kids just have to, sort of step out, and try at HBCU. It's a great experience.
Okay.
I can say, when my son was, trying to get a scholarship, even in my mindset, I was always looking for D1 and all the known schools. It's just, I don't know where I got it from, but you wanted the best of the best, and we've put those schools in those particular categories. But then when he didn't get accepted, and he ended up going to Shaw University in North Carolina, and I went to the HBCU, and I didn't even know about North Carolina or HBC out there, and I was just like, where did this school come from? I only knew about Grambling and Southern, but there's so many HBCUs, and I'm just like, wow, I dropped the ball on that, because if I had known, I would have been really pushing it. I don't know where where my mindset came from on not just dropping the ball on HBCU, because I love it when Grambling and Prairie View play, and the band, the atmosphere. I just love it. And I'm like here trying to go to a predominantly white school where you only see about 1,000 out of the 50,000 of us in the crowd.
I think it's a challenge when we're thinking about competition. And I said gift and a curse earlier. I went to FAMU, and being in Tallahassee at that time, one of the things that really frustrated me was our school, our building locked at 10 o'clock p.m. But at Florida State down the hill, open 24 hours. You still have those disparities 25 years later. And so I'm hoping that there's a, uptick in some of that, with some more money coming into the institutions. But I told my son easily, and my daughter, if I got to pay for it, you're going to FAMU or Prairie View. But with that being said, I want them to be comfortable with who they are as individuals, but at the same time, be prepared for the world that they're going to enter, which unfortunately looks like it looks, where there's going to be some bias and there's going to be some racism and systematic white supremacy. So we want them to be prepared before they leave the house. But, I have faith and comfort that an HBC would do a great job. And I think if we can continue to get quality athletics and get those games on television where the guys can see that, I think we're heading in that direction.
You got anybody else?
Well, for me, I undergrad, I went to a PWI, played football, and my grad school, my master's program, I went to North Carolina Central, and playing ball, there wasn't a me there. There wasn't a Keino there. There wasn't an Emmett there. You go to a lot of these PWIs and you're playing. There's just not many people that, if you're struggling or you have somebody, you need somebody to go talk to, it's not there. But you go to HBCU, it's a village. that you feel like you could connect with. And even in my master's program, there's still professors and others that I'm still in touch with to this day that I can go talk to and confide in if I need to, on a professional and a personal level. So I feel like that's a big advantage in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last question, and we got to get on out of here. Character. How important is character when it's pertaining to athletes? I know, for instance, I'm really big on character building, and I'm truly thankful to God. Didn't know OU was watching my son for 4 years, so he received 2 honor awards: the Prentice Scout and the Don Key for his character on the field and off the field. And as African American football players, you already have a stigma. You're black. 2 is about women. 3, like you said, power, sex, and drugs. Okay, that's just, it's for some reason, it's just when you hear of an African American athlete, that's the things people go to. So I was determined to drill that in my son. This is not going to be your story. And so, with that being said, when he received those awards, I was very honored, because even down to the interview when he was at home, in 7th grade, I would interview him. We sit at the table and I'd act like I got a mic, and I put it in front of his face. And I said, if you start doing a what, I'm going to come through my hand's going to reach through the screen and I'm going to choke you right there on national TV. And then I'm going to come on back. He would laugh. So I was preparing him in 7th grade when he said this is what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So during that time, his character, All-American through high school, and then this and college. How important is it to prepare our children, especially as African American, character-wise, especially if they're not gonna go to a historical Black college? How important is it for the parents to educate them and help them build their character?
Great question.
Guys got something?
Pass the mic to anybody.
I think. No, go ahead, B.
No, I think it's one of the most important things, if not the most important. Especially as a Black man, I'm very cognizant of who's watching. Every time I step in the room, every word that I say, it all represents my character. So I have to set a good example for all those individuals that I mentor, that I talk to, that I speak with. It's all about my character.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of the position that I'm in, because I've been in the minority in my professional ranks. As a school counselor, I was in the largest middle school in North Carolina. I was the only Black male in that school for 5 years.
Right.
Wow.
In my position now, I'm the only Black male in a department of 30 people. So every single move that I make, I'm thinking about what I do. I'm thinking once, thinking twice. I have to make sure that, okay, Brad, I tell all my student athletes, E plus R equals O. You got the event, you got your response, you got your outcome. And so every single event, I have to think about the outcome that I want, how I'm going to respond. Like if I don't like something that somebody says, how I'm going to respond. So it's at the top of the list for me.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think character is important athletically because you tell your teammates you're going to do certain things and you're going to be there for them, and you're going to come through, and you should make those same pledges to your mothers and your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your sons, your daughters, and your aunts and the uncles. So we talk about transferable skills when it comes to character. But for me, when I'm speaking to some student athletes and I see all these Bible verses and quotes and whatnot on their arms, and some of them I can ask what it means, and some of them can explain to me the verse, and others have no clue. And for me at this particular point in life, I'm trying to let them know, the promise isn't the promise that you make to your mother, your father, to Nike or that AD. It's to God. That's the person you know, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, that you're going to have to answer to. And, you know, so for me, it's a lot about your faith, you know, because you can sit here and have a lack of character, you know, in different settings. But at the end of the day, you know, what does it say about your faith? And can you connect that faith to your character? And can that carry you through when people aren't looking? You know, because it's all about what you do when people aren't looking. We live in this age of social media and instant gratification, you know, but at the end of the day, are you doing what you said you're going to do when the camera's off, when the lights are off, when nobody's around?
That's right.
And you know, I don't that's what I want to talk to you about. You know, I want to talk to you. Can you tell me what that Bible verse means on that tattoo you got on your arm? If you can't, you need come back next week and let's talk about it again, because my Bible's right there on my desk. And you know, that's my God for my character.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Being authentic is tough for a lot of folks coming out of adolescence. Being authentic, being able to find out who you are, that's a really tough issue. And so the challenge is to have the integrity, to be accountable, not only to your family, to your last name, and to your community. It takes a village, but we got to be able to build the village back up. So that's in this moment right now, where we're at in terms of some of the social strife. We've got to reaffirm who we are as a village and as a community. That's what's going to pour into the character. And that's deeper than just the parent, either a nuclear family or an extended family. So those are the things that, you know, Brother Emmett is talking about and Brother Hambric here. We're just talking about how do we instill those. And it's the community that's going to have to look within to find a way to instill that in these individuals. It's bigger than OU, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It's bigger than Oak Cliff. But I'm a part of those places.
Yeah.
But it started from my grandparents. And so I want to just kind of just echo that and, you know, talk about accountability and values. Those are the critical things for parents to be able to take away. Parenting is hard. You can't do it with a TV and YouTube and
right.
with a damn computer. I'm sorry.
That's right. You can't. You can do it with a bat and a belt.
Right. You got to be present.
No, let me stop. I don't beat my kids, y'all. I done knocked them out a couple of times. So. All right. So listen, you got. What'd you say?
They don't call a popo on you.
I told them jokers when they were young, I want you, because see, I always say, God, you gave me at the time, because I'm remarried again. But so my previous marriage, I was like, God, you gave me 4 boys and 1 girl. Help me understand this conversation, But I was tough, and I wasn't afraid to deck them in the chest. I didn't took them in a couple of times, but I understood, because I was like, I knew the challenge out there. And so I actually had to ask God, show me how to raise them. And so my husband now, I'm so thankful for, they call him Pops. It's like he came in and he's like, listen, this is what a man is. This is what you're gonna do. Hard work is this. I mean, he just was hammering, and it's been great for me. So but listen, I want to thank you guys. This has been an awesome show. Before we leave, can you, each one of you, give something you would tell, if you could tell a parent right now during this COVID, they have athletes, whether it's male or female, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, be intentional about the time you spend with your children, and to be very honest with you, treat every day as if it was your last day. Be very intentional with the time you spend with your children, what you say to them, what you pour into them, because you never know. And that's where we're at right now. No day is promised.
Yeah. Okay. Brad?
I would say utilize your resources. If you're in middle school, high school, have a connection with your counselors. Right? People are intimidated or scared or feel like there's a stigma attached to school counselors, mental health counselors. If you have access to those resources, utilize all your resources. Academics, utilize tutors. Even if you're an A+ student, you can never get to the point where you're not learning. So utilize your resources in all settings.
Okay,
that's what I got.
Emmett?
I'd probably say 2 things. I'd probably say, we still have to let our kids be kids. Kids want to grow up so quickly, and as parents, we can give them a lot of things to do. So I would say, be intentional about allowing kids to be kids. And the other thing that I would say is spend some time praying for somebody else.
That's good.
Whether it's your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, somebody in need, develop a prayer list and learn to pray for somebody else. Because oftentimes, we want to change people, but we can help change others through just praying for them and sending goodwill their way. So those are a couple of things that I would think about doing.
Okay. Well, again, thank you guys for joining the show. This has been
Thank
really
you.
good. I hope whoever's watching, you got some good nuggets, and go back, watch it again, share it, because this is vital. This not over, as you said. It's not over. This is almost. Go ahead, Emmett. What you gonna say?
No, I just wanted to thank y'all. Y'all have an incredible show. You're very knowledgeable. You put your work in terms of your families and your sons and athletics. And so what you're doing is, I'm like, man, the intro to the show, I was over here grooving. I was
Right.
We wanted to do a show because you always watch ESPN, right? Yeah. And it's always about numbers, but there's never something to help parents understand the reality. Everybody does not make the 1%. We got to start telling that. We won't say that. We need to be realistic. So on our show, it's like, look, everybody doesn't make the 1%, but that's okay, because there's other things. There's doctors. There's, like you guys. You're in the social side of things and the mental side of things. There's the trainers. There's the coach, and so we try to show them there's other entities to sports. And so we want to help with the recruiting and understand, because a lot of parents don't even know how to recruit. They don't really understand how it goes. So our show is really about bringing a true awareness of what's going on. I'm glad your son is the #1 quarterback, but let's deal with the truth. Let's deal with some mental issues he might be dealing with, financial issues he's dealing with. So, that's why we love our show. And we got crazy on it,
It's all good. It's all good.
So this is your girl, Shannon. We will be back Thursday. We have swimming. What?
I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to swim.
I took swimming lessons, but that was not the will of the Lord. And then my sons, I tried to put them in it. It really wasn't the will of the Lord. So the teacher told them, "Don't jump." So she got one twin over here, the other one jump in the deep end. They trying to rush over there and get him. I said, nope, that's not the will of the Lord. Let me take him out of swimming. So anyway, we have a swim coach coming Thursday. We have a Sunday guest, but I am so excited about our Tuesday guest. We got Jay Ellis from Insecure on the show. And Paula Ellis, his mom, which is my sister. So yeah, we're going to talk about Insecure. He played basketball and then he went into acting. He was not that good, y'all. Okay, I'm playing, Jay. I'm playing. But anyway, we will be back Thursday. You guys have a great day. This is your girl, Shannon, and I am here with my host.
Hey, it's Karen. Okay, I'm working on that.
I'm going to work with it, y'all. I promise. I'm going to work with it, y'all. I promise. All right, we will be back. You guys have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.